guy's head just moved in a very unnatural manner.
Man, it was the mid-90s. Animating stuff was expensive. And, you know, they're not made of money. This is quite the world map, though. I forgot about this thing.
I totally forgot about that. That is awesome.
Do. Ready to work. Let's get some wood, buddy. Oh, man.
Zug, zug.
Oh, right. This was before you could just right-click to move.
My God, they're moving so slow.
Well, you know, it's only running at 15 FPS.
You've got grunts right at the start, man.
Oh, yeah. You could only build one dude at a time. And there's no box select either.
Oh, man.
Man, this is awesome.
I had forgotten all about this.
Although it could also be because it's running in a browser.
Could be. I remember setting up, we had this, literally, there was a river, and there was a bridge across it, and it was catapults on both sides, and one peon went to retrieve some wood, and it was a standoff right up until the moment the peon went to get the wood. And then the catapults from... But they clipped the other catapult enough to start it firing, and it just... Instantly the war was going. And it was all downhill.
I remember playing this game on the Macs at school. And it was like the only game they had other than MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries that could run on a PPC Mac back in the day.
I didn't know Mech Mercenaries was on PPC Mac.
It was. It was like the game to play if you were a student in Canada in the late 80s, early 90s. Well,
Sweet.
I guess MechWarrior wasn't out then. I swear, no word of a lie, I saw the original MechWarrior, the DOS one, at school many years ago. But it was a DOS machine.
Yep.
Thrill as I mine
NWN.
things. Oh no, that's repair.
Wow.
Not enough food. Oh right, I gotta build more farms.
Build a farm.
All right, and Warcraft 1 had the roads that you had to stick to as well.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So many things.
So many.
So many constraints.
Yeah. I feel like the frame rate's pretty low right now. I wonder
It
if I can
is.
change the speed. Game speed. There we go. Let's go to fastest. Hey, now it looks like a normal game.
Oh God.
I don't think we're gonna beat this mission. It's gonna take too long.
Is that so? You got lots of gold, dude. Anyway.
What are we here for today? Right, Neverwinter Nights.
Really?
And Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale, Baldur's Gate 2. What was that?
I'm
other
just here to
one?
talk about blacksmithing, dude.
Planescape something. Planescape Tyranny.
Ah, dear.
And you know, there's Neverwinter Nights, as I mentioned before, and a few other things. So welcome to the show, folks. And we're just playing Warcraft 1 here, and we're probably going to get a cease and desist letter from Blizzard in the near future. But it was worth it.
You're playing Warcraft badly because the humans have showed up and they are now killing you.
Well, what are you going to do? All right, folks. So welcome to the show today. And first off, Beamdog news. So news at Beamdog. We're still hiring. We're looking for all manner of positions here. Technical artists, Infinity Engine programmers, people with strong C, C++ backgrounds. We're looking for people who are interested in working on console, for example, the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox One, and the PlayStation 4. If you are
Which
that
are pretty
person,
much all the consoles.
that's pretty much all the consoles. And of course, Atari's new VCS that they announced that you have to pre-fund in order to receive maybe in a year.
Hey, we totally ran into Todd Schallbetter down at GDC, and he was like, "Yeah, you should bring your game over to this." So we're like, "Okay, Todd, sure."
I mean, when I think of a rebooted retro Atari console, the first thing that comes to mind for me is Baldur's Gate should be on there. So it seems like an obvious
Really?
fit.
Oh, man. If a rebooted Atari console, it should have old school stuff. Like wicked old school stuff.
For all those Atari fans out there who are still holding a torch for Atari, but yet for some reason have not bought the Atari Flashback console, which costs about $12.
It was all about getting the magic dot in Adventure.
Anyways, enough trash talking. So As well, the 2.5 update for the Infinity Engine is rolling out as we speak. We have some questions around
so
that.
you had the so we've gone out with Icewind Dale.
Yes, Infinity Engine 2.5 Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition is now out on desktop. We had a question about GOG and the Mac App Store. When are they going to see the updates? So we actually sent a build to GOG yesterday, and we did a Mac App Store build yesterday as well. We're testing the Mac App Store build right now, and we want to update it as soon as we can.
Yeah, there's something to be said for putting stable code out.
Yeah. So the big challenge, and I've talked about this at length many times before, is that these are five large games.
Five games that require much testing.
Yeah, we're going to use units of Skyrim here. So roughly 4.5 Skyrims worth of games here have to be tested, patched, and released. Not in that order.
Fair enough.
And so it's going to take some time, but Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition has received 2.5. It's out now. Keep an eye out for Baldur's Gate 2, Siege of Dragonspear. They're all going to receive updates in the near future on all platforms, including mobile. Speaking to that,
and we will realize our dream of cross-platform compatibility
that's right.
and stability, and the universe will be as it was intended.
Listen to this guy, so passionate about the Infinity Engine.
Yes.
As well, it's coming to iOS and Android. We're in testing right now, so you will see that update roll out very soon.
Yes.
I guess one related question is, will there be anything new from Beamdog in the world of mobile gaming? Mobile as in phones and tablets.
Phones and tablets.
Will there be anything new, Trent?
That is a good question.
That is a good question about what we're going to put on mobile next. Anyways, let's play Neverwinter Nights.
Are we going to put something on mobile next?
I don't know. Should we?
You're such a jackass.
Should we put something on mobile?
I don't know. Eventually.
Yes. The answer is yes. You're going to see some stuff from us in the near future.
Yeah, we're going to take Sword Coast High and put it on mobile.
Yeah. Other patch news, so Neverwinter Nights, you're probably wondering when the next stable update's going to be, because it's been a little while.
You used the word stable there, Phil.
I did use the word stable. Today is not that day.
Today is not the day of stable.
You're getting a development build, but the plan is going to be fix, stabilize, and push to the mainstream in very near
today,
future.
the plan is attempt to deliver a development build. So we'll see where we're at.
It is currently uploading for testing right now. The development build shortly.
Yeah, I understand you have some bootleg code on that laptop there, Phil.
Well, you know.
Some pre-release code.
Some...
Off the start, we got a couple known issues. We're still working with Intel on the Intel graphics bug.
Oh, right. So this is an issue with their drivers, actually.
Their driver team has dug in. They found a reproducible case for it, and they're at work on it. I'm dealing with their American office, and the driver team supposedly is in Poland. So there's that whole day delay. So anytime we ask them a question, they don't get it until the morning of the next day, and then they answer, and then we don't get the answer until the morning of the next day. So it's 2 days lag and everything. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt.
That is true.
Yep.
And we appreciate it, Intel. Thank you very much for taking the time to work with us on this.
Yeah.
We have had a long history with Intel graphics chipsets that I will not get into right now.
We've had a long history with them, yes. Both good and a lot of hard work on our parts. We're aware of
I actually do not know the details of this one, but as I understand it, it's kind of broken.
So we're going to be working on that, the next thing. So we'll keep smashing on it.
New features. What's in the upcoming development build?
Well, we've got the translations.
All right, so you can scale, rotate, twist, change. Maybe not twist, but you know what I mean. So that was an in-development feature for quite some time. It touched many different systems. So a lot of hard work went into that.
Actually, you got a module.
But
module off, because that's actually kind of neat. There was also translations log strings. We made it so when looking up translation strings, you first consider the opposite gender before falling back to English. So one of the concerns we've had, especially English doesn't really care about the gender of a bunch of text.
What a great language that makes life so much easier. Everybody should just learn English. It's 100% consistent. No problems whatsoever.
So are you running Steam version there or the Beamdog
This is the Beamdog version.
Okay, so first you should run Phil's till. Down on the bottom.
Yeah, where is that?
Phil's Till.
Phil's Till.
So Phil's Till is a little module that Andrew, our QA guy, built. And it's basically showing you...
Full disclosure here, I haven't actually seen this thing. So when I see my name as part of the module title, I immediately become suspicious.
I think the answer is Phil's Till, the Omni Phil.
All right.
Load it. Just...
Well, I have to create me.
No... We don't care about you. It's not about you, man.
I have a pre-made in here already.
Now
It's
just
Bob
play-
Carwash.
Bob Carwash. You are the best at naming characters.
I didn't name that
You
one. I
really
don't know
are.
where he came from.
Bob Carwash.
Oh, Lord.
So in the distance, you see many colored fills of many different scales. And they keep talking. Don't believe my lies. I'm the one Phil.
It's
These
like
others are
looking
imitators.
into a living mirror.
Where do these other hats keep coming from?
Hey, your head looks really high res. Weird.
Yeah.
And he's on an old body.
Oh my
Look at
God!
that.
You get the high-res head on the low-res body.
This is
So
incredible.
anyway, what happens is the Phils decide that they don't like each other, and they start fighting each other. And what happens is, as the Phils begin to fight, when you're not interrupting them and running through them like a jackass, they actually start inheriting the scale from each other.
Is there a way to trigger?
so
Do I have to attack
You should
them?
see all the text here. I'm the one true
Did you
Phil.
say Spelljammer?
Did you say Spelljammer?
Where do these hats keep coming from? Do I really have catchphrases?
You have catchphrases.
Have I reached the level of American
You
sitcom?
literally have reached that state.
Do I talk to them?
I don't know.
Maybe they've become friendly with one another, or
Pull
maybe
the
I
lever.
need to flip this switch.
Flip the switch.
Oh my God!
Oh my God, Phil! You are gigantic, but you are moving very slowly. So Phil has become the Omni Phil. Can you undo the Omni Phil?
I don't think I can. I have become God.
You are God. We literally have your torso,
Oh, they've all got my portrait too.
and they keep spouting one, and we'll run the other module. So Phil is now the Omni Phil, running around the level. So obviously, animation doesn't scale currently with the scaling of the object, but I think that's something we'll have to look at.
Hey man, it's working.
Yeah, it's
Look at
all
this.
about Spelljammer. Don't believe my lies.
All right, let's try the other one. It was pretty good.
So
I'll give
that
you
was
that
just
one.
something quick thrown together by Andrew. Levitator
Levitator.
was made by Bill Harper. Bill's currently kind of distributing it through the Discord. So it's supposedly commented fairly well, and it walks people through kind of how to do stuff.
Yeah, this
So
is
if you
more of a
talk-
tutorial
Yeah,
module.
so you talk to the little gnome.
A circus gnome.
Levitate
gnome
for
is the
me,
most
gnome! Levitate for me!
Okie dokie, watch this.
He's watching. Height at 3 meters. 4 meters.
Note, Poochie died on the way back to his home planet.
I was completely praying for him to fall and die because
Grow, form, ooh. All right.
grow
Ah.
for me.
Ah!
200%. 300%.
Did you see the new Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer where he's like, how big did you get? And he's like, I got to 21 feet. And then what's his face? Ant-Man's like, yeah, I got to 65 feet. No big deal. Because he can get big, you know.
Yeah.
Are you not familiar with Ant-Man?
In the wake of Infinity War, is Ant-Man even relevant? Does anyone care?
He will be. He's got a movie coming out.
But
Are you sure? That one really hurts. I don't care.
Ant-Man's
Do it.
pretty weak sauce. Watch this man.
Bill, you've got a mean streak
He is
to
a
ya.
circus gnome. He's powerful. He's levitating. He's levitating. Sideways. 4 meters, 5 meters, 6 meters.
You know, to be honest, if I was at the circus and I saw this, I would be terrified beyond
He's rotating,
reasoning.
dude. Where the hell is he?
Oh my god.
He's flipping. Flipping gnomes.
We've turned him into a clock.
You've made a clock out of a gnome. He's like moving all the place.
Do
all
you-
over the place.
Sir, do you need aid? Sir.
Sir, with your random flippy stuff you'll be doing? Have you looked further into the X-Wing enhanced idea? No, I have not, because Electronic Arts currently has the rights to the Star Wars universe, and I feel like dealing with Electronic Arts as much as I feel like licking sandpaper. So, for the moment...
EA and Disney, what a combo to deal with.
Yeah. So I have not looked into that, and it may at some point I might decide that licking sandpaper is not that bad, and I might look into it.
Honestly, like what we don't need is an X-wing or an X-wing versus TIE Fighter reboot. We just need a new Star Wars
Starfighter game that's
flight
awesome.
sim.
Yeah.
And not like an arcade. Like I loved Rogue Squadron; those games were awesome as hell. But man, do I really want like a chunky Star Wars flight sim?
So there's a question on the scaling translation stuff. So does this growth work for PC characters with different body parts?
Yep.
And the answer is yeah. It works PCs, creatures, items, placeables, doors, everything.
Yeah.
So you can take the game and radically break it by making things massive. Hopefully it will be used for good and not evil.
This does mean that you can make human-sized gnomes. Which, if you've seen Infinity War...
Or you could make gnome-sized humans.
Another question from the audience. When will I be able to play Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition VR? Well, technically you can do that right this second. A few streams ago I talked about getting Neverwinter running in Vorpex, which is kind of the app that takes existing 3D applications, splits the rendering in two, and gives you two different visions for your VR headset. It works. It's not the greatest experience in the universe, but I thought it was pretty neat to see like Neverwinter as if I'm in the universe looking around. If you're asking when are we going to add official VR support, I can hear chuckling and screaming coming from the other room, so probably not anytime soon.
It's mostly just snorts of derision. I
will say though that because of the way that Neverwinter Nights was constructed, specifically the user interface is not just a bunch of 2D planes, it's actually a bunch of 3D objects with the UI textures applied to them. That had this weird side effect of actually working incredibly well in VR.
Which is crazy.
Because it's like, hey, my UI is floating off the game world at an appropriate distance, and it kind of worked out of the box, so that was neat. But official VR support, yeah, don't hold your breath anytime soon.
Yeah, that is one of those things.
Question from the audience. Can Infinity Engine games support 8K? Theoretically, yes.
They should auto-scale to handle it, but the question is, do you want to see pixels that big?
That's fair, yeah. Yeah, it should theoretically work. It should scale nicely. Planescape Torment especially should scale nicely because that was built with 4K in mind and should look okay on 8K. I don't think we've actually done any tests on 8K because where the hell do you get an 8K display for less than $10,000 these days?
Yeah, and we're kind of cheap, farmy, and we don't buy 8K displays.
There's a reason you haven't seen a tour of the office on the stream because it's just pizza boxes up to the rafters.
Yep.
All right, let's check out another module.
I'm looking forward to starting a new Icewind Dale game with a shaman. What role is a shaman designed to fill in a party?
So the shaman is kind of support-ish. The shaman was shaman, whatever. Was inspired by that unit from StarCraft that would spawn a whole bunch of little units. Let me look up the name here because I always forget. StarCraft 2. What was it called? I haven't played StarCraft 2 in like 5 years. Some of the audience, tell me, what's that thing that spawns all the little
but the hive,
broodlings? The Hive Mother? No. It was in StarCraft 2. Basically, it was like the Protoss Reaver. No, not the Queen, because the Queen spawns them one shot. It was basically the equivalent of the Protoss Reaver, but instead of spawning the Scarabs, it would spawn little tiny Zergling-style units. It's not the Queen. It's different. This is a StarCraft 2 unit from... It's a ground unit.
Here's a question. Are there any plans to add more animal companions?
Swarm host, thank you.
And familiars, such as owls and ferrets, to Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition.
Do you want to add ferrets?
I don't think we've got any plans to add that to kind of base stuff, but going forward to new content, there's definitely some options there.
Yeah. So going back to the question about the shaman, the swarm host was the inspiration for that character. So basically you want your shaman to be standing back and spawning a horde of allies to come at the front line. So they're not your frontline fighter, they're to supplement your frontline fighters in melee, but they themselves do not become involved in melee. I think
it's kind of like the BG1 Rod of Summoning, spamming Saravok and Samage.
Kind of, yeah. It's like a low drip feed Rod of Summoning that never runs out. Question from the audience. Trent, has anyone ever told you from Walking Dead?
No, no one has ever told me that. And the only reason I do that, I look like that a bit, is because I'm getting shaggy.
Trent, has anyone ever told you that you sound like the main character from GTA 5? The dude with the mansion.
The dude with the mansion.
Yeah, you remind me of him.
I do.
Yeah.
I actually started playing GTA 5, and I found him to be basically a treatise on the emptiness of North American.
I shouldn't have opened my mouth.
Culture. He's basically this man who's got for meaning, and he's not finding it. And I haven't got because I just got it recently, and but it just seems like a statement on the emptiness of our culture.
That's the game that I want to play in VR because
Yeah.
they added that first-person mode, which is pretty sick.
Here's a question. Since it will be possible to play as a giant character, are there any plans for increasing camera view distance? Being able to shoot arrows and cast spells further away would be awesome. The answer is it's on Trello. It's not scheduled or started work yet, but it's definitely something we are looking at playing with.
Yeah, now get on that because now there's a reason for it. If you want to see more of that incredible voice acting, we have next month.
No,
we'll get into it later.
No.
But
there is a thing that the Wizards of the Coast is doing called the Stream of Many Eyes.
Yeah.
Eyes everywhere. We'll be doing something there. It'll be fun.
There is a rumor that we will be present.
Yep. We kind of stopped talking about features. We had a lot of features there.
All right, go back to the features. What's coming in the development build?
We're working on detecting port hopping resulting from bad network address translation on the server side. On the UI, metallic colors are now animated in the character creation color picker, so you can tell metallic from non-metallic,
and
which
you
is
can actually get a
cool.
sense for what it's going to look like in game.
Tool set, you can actually move things on the Z-axis by holding down the Alt key and moving the mouse. So that's
actually
that
opens up quite a bit of decoration options.
It does.
That's any sort of
cool.
placeable.
Yep. Material system. We added script calls allow overriding shader uniforms on materials. Still work in progress, but more flexible. The ability to swap materials and other components on materials, GFF serialization, and toolset support is still to come. But that's an exciting area. And utils, we've re-added NWN, NWHack.exe and GFF editor to the torrent, to the distro, and
you've revealed our secret technology.
Neverwinter Hack now understands and so on.
Yeah, so basically just a lot of tools for modders, a lot of quality of life things for them, and stuff. So
that's pretty cool.
It seems minor, but the reality is that this opens up a whole ton of visual options for you when you're placing stuff.
Here's a question. Hey, Beamdog, do you need a mail clerk? Not at the moment, but we're actually going to get a receptionist at some point.
Could you be an email clerk? Because, boy, I need some help there. My inbox.
Any plans to bring more hotkey bars in? It's something we talked a bit about, but we've never actually kind of formalized our discussions around it.
We should add official support for that MacBook Pro Touch Bar, so you can have like the little spell icons at the top as you play. No, nobody.
No, that Touch Bar it's actually one of the dumbest
little
features.
DOA, no big deal.
It's, like,
it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Hey, what a brilliant idea! Let's do something that nobody else is doing that's mostly useless.
You know what I really appreciate about it is that there's no tactile feedback, so I can't really know if I've successfully pressed a button or not, or even if the button's in the same position it was 10 minutes ago.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Question: Neverwinter Nights 2 Enhanced Edition gonna happen? Question mark.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I don't know. You know, once in a while we chat with Gus and the boys, and we say words, and they say words, and then we finish our drinks.
What are those words? Are those words we're doing the game? Tell us the word.
Hey guys, what you doing? You want to do the thing? They're like, I don't know. We were thinking about doing a thing. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe you'll do it.
So
what do you think?
They literally sound like a cassette tape that's winding down.
Exactly.
You just knock the wind out of their sails when you mention it.
We'll figure something out at that point.
There's interest in it from people on all sides. It's just a matter of making a deal that works for everybody.
Yeah, I'm not done on Neverwinter First, man. I got a lot of work to do here. I had amazing things to make here.
You got 15 years. You got a 15-year break from Neverwinter. Now you got to come back and make up for all that time.
I got 15 years of awesome I have to make.
The sins must be paid for.
In blood.
So before we go on to new fixes in the development branch, how about we give away a T-shirt?
T-shirt 2, bombs.
Big bombs and
bombs.
All right, bombs.
It's all about the bombs. Will we have a texture alpha channel, aka transparency shadow casting?
actually, so the lighting model, let's talk about that.
Yeah, the lighting model is kind of rando right now. It doesn't make a ton of sense. It's still based on the old mechanism of hardware transform and lighting. It's just been re-implemented in a shader-based system.
Language, right.
So as a result, in order to make sense of it, we're going to have to do some extra work and do some twiddling on stuff. So it's going to be one of those things that evolves over time. I mean, we can't break the old content while we move forward on new stuff. So it's really a challenge to kind of balance it. We've got to keep the lighting model so the old stuff still looks pretty good, but at the same time, we've got to address kind of those issues where under hardware TNL, you could only basically go all the way up to a full intensity texture was full bright. Overbrighten didn't come in for another year or two after that.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was one of the first games to do overbrightening using that kind of hardware TNL model. So we've got to come up with a lighting model that works with the old stuff that goes from full dark to full intensity texture. And on the new side, it's got to go from full dark to full intensity texture to hot white. So you've got these two dynamic ranges that need to kind of play together. And yeah, we're not that smart. We haven't figured it out yet.
So the solution, the simplest solution that we might pursue is when you're building a module, you can choose which lighting model shader do you want to use. Do you want to use old school so that your original content still works? Or would you prefer to use this new shader that does all sorts of fun things? For example, alpha channels and shadows. Question from the audience. What new classes are possible in Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition? Possible is a pretty big word.
It's a big word. So using the Neverwinter extender, you can actually get in and make a lot of changes in terms of adding classes and so on. The UI is still pretty crusty in terms of supporting that.
Crusty?
So there's going to, our plans are to open that system up going forward. Definitely something we're definitely interested in.
So this is something you've heard us chat about a lot, is the UI system. What are the plans there? What are we doing? So we have a variety of needs for what we need to do with the UI, and there's a variety of ways that we can accomplish this. So as you may have heard us talk about other platforms, we're going to have to tear apart the UI and rebuild it probably multiple times. So in doing that, when we do that, we're going to try and add features and hooks so that you can feed it data and the UI will change.
The goal is to take the UI system and make it moddable, make it more accessible so that you can twiddle it as well.
And throw in something new that might not be what we're talking about, but it will be something that you can change and adjust. So before we get into the fixes for the new patch,
you should totally talk about the fixes.
I feel as if you have instruments of
I have some stuff here
and hurt.
So this
what kind of knife is this?
This is not a knife. This is a block of wood. This is a block of zebra wood that has been stabilized. So it's actually been filled with a plastic resin and baked in an oven. So it's heavier than you expect, and it's harder than you expect. So it's been lightly sanded, so it doesn't really show up, but it's almost like a polished wood when I finish polishing it.
Gorgeous.
So it's actually quite neat.
Why do they call it zebra wood?
Because it has patterned striping like a zebra.
I would have thought it was the main.
I made a chef's knife. This is a little Japanese. I forget. Kyoto is the style of it. This is out of a stainless steel 440C, crazy hard carbides, and I hammered on it, and it just would not move.
Look at that mirror finish.
It is tough stuff. And this is where dreams begin.
So is that an orcish sword?
This is not an orcish sword. This is a block of Damascus. If you get the light right, you can see the layers here. You can see the individual layers.
It's hard to catch it, but
so this is a combination of O1 and L6, both tool steels that have been forged into about a 22-layer billet. And hard to work. Like this stuff, oh man, you just beat on it and it barely moves. But when I actually make something out of it, it should keep those properties when it's awesome. When it's all ground down and polished up and made into something. So that'll be kind of neat.
So do you have any plans for these blades at all?
This one I'm going to finish up and use in my kitchen for food making.
Mm-hmm.
This will likely be the handle for that one. And that one, I'm still asking it, what do you want to be when you grow up?
That's weird.
What do you want to be?
Talks to his swords.
It's too small to be a sword.
Speaking of swords.
It's okay, little buddy. We're not judging you.
While you are telling us all about the fixes in the new update, I would like to show off something that I believe is in the workshop right
sound,
now.
Fix an issue where playing weapon hit sounds would access freed memory, sometimes resulting in it playing the wrong sound, which accessing freed memory is never a good thing.
Well, Trent, you shouldn't access freed memory. That's bad.
Never. That's bad. UI, fixed flickering text on loading screens, and the escape button now allows you to escape from almost all screens.
Who'd have thunk it?
One of those things. Convention, but not documented convention. Renderer, we fixed rendering animated meshes without animations. So this was seen as the disappearing water on TNO01_V. The object visual transforms, we fixed an issue where held item scaling would reset after a spell was cast. So I'm assuming you scaled the cast character, you cast a spell, and the item in your hand would disappear while you were casting and then reappear at the original scale.
Well, the scale would...
Yep.
Yeah, it was funny.
And networking side, we fixed some issues with the master server DNS resolving that would, in rare circumstances, drop servers from the master list.
Exciting stuff.
Yep, there's a lot of cool stuff there.
There's also a bunch of Neverwinter script editions.
Neverwinter scripting just keeps growing and growing and growing.
So if you head over to the workshop right now and check out the official Beamdog account, we've actually got a module you can grab that showcases some new swords that one of our internal artists, Boyd McKenzie, has whipped up.
Yep.
These are much higher resolution items. I wonder if I can actually equip it. Damn it, I chose the wrong class. I am a fool.
You are a fool, Phil.
And I will
you are a
choose
fool,
a
Phil
class.
of the fools. Here's a question. Unlimited Adventures Enhanced Edition. Will that ever be a thing?
Unlimited Adventures.
I'm not sure what Unlimited Adventures is.
I'm having a hard time describing it, but I think I've seen it.
Okay.
So just imagine that I told you about it and I was very informative and you were impressed.
Wow, that's great, Phil. I'm so glad you told everybody about what it was. I feel so informed now.
You should. Look at these
being able to imagine things in some alternate universe where you actually knew. Damn you!
Quick update. So the development branch is currently updating on Beamdog and Steam, so you are going to be receiving it today. Yep. This branch is 8170. The plan with 8170 and probably 71 is stabilize, fix, and then push this to the main branch as soon as we can. So the main branch will be updated not today, but we hope soon.
Question: where are the achievements and trading cards?
Ooh, they're coming. They're coming for all the original campaigns.
The answer is they're in the oven and they're just baking. It's like they're nice little doughy balls that have yet to kind of blorp out and become little nuggets of goodness.
Achievements and trading cards are probably going to be part of a fairly substantial update at some point in the future, but they are coming.
You said the words fairly and substantial together.
Fairly substantial could mean anything. That's right. A day and night cycle with lighting and shadow based on sun and moon shifts, ? You should be able to pull that off with the new shader system, but you would have to build that shader. So when we're looking at potentially replacing the lighting model, we can see what kind of stuff we can pull off with that.
Yeah, it also comes down to sun position. Like right now, the sun is basically kind of hard-coded at a specific angle. I think that's something we could actually open up and allow it to work. You could move it around a bit. That's an option. Things might go to hell in a handbag.
Do it.
If used improperly.
See what happens.
Here's a question. Are you guys going to check out Pillars of Eternity 2?
Deadfire?
Of course!
Yeah. That Jade son of a whatever broke Cade Nua and walked into the sea. I got to hunt his ass down. That's my castle. I spent that first... Need some giant... What? Screw that guy. I'm going to get
it. Sounds like got some issue there.
I have a chip on my shoulder about that because why would you give me the castle if you're going to break it, you know?
Here's a question. When are you going to fix the multiplayer save loading with the premium modules? And our own Niv responds, it's reported, it's being looked at for the next stable build. So it won't be in the dev branch, but it's one of those things we're looking at for the next stable release. Our master stable release plan, we're just kind of working out the roadmap on that. But hopefully pretty soon here, we'll have another stable that we we go through, we put heavy testing into, and we roll out and we encourage persistent worlds and everybody to move to it.
Yep.
But we'll test it a lot before that.
Question from the audience: will there be any new Baldur's Gate content in the future? Yes.
That is a big question.
Yes.
Yes?
Sure.
Phil will put his spare time when he is not sleeping, eating, or working for us.
They didn't specify Baldur's Gate video games, so I'm talking like you go to that source book. There's all new Baldur's Gates, the size of Waterdeep. That's a jerk answer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that is a jerk answer. Phil is.
No comment.
Will we have a texture alpha shadow cast?
Well, we already answered that one. That was
I did.
New lighting model stuff.
Okay. Any chance to add more achievements for Icewind Dale and Torment?
More achievements? We don't have any plans for more achievements.
Yeah, we added as many as we wanted.
That was a fair number.
Yeah, we were pretty happy with it. Why did we go short on it? Is everybody kind of choked about it?
I don't know. You tell me. What achievements do you want to see? Do you want to get an achievement for like killing Fel or something? I don't know. So no, we're not going to add more unless you tell us exactly what you want, and then we probably won't unless it's a really good idea. So
here's a question. Why don't you add these remodeled weapons inside the game? Just add a button into the options to disable the new look. The main reason is we think that this kind of hodgepodge between HD and non-HD kind of looks bad.
Wait till it's all done.
Yeah, like ultimately what we'll do is we'll try to refresh content in a sensible way so that hey, it all looks pretty good.
Right this second it doesn't make sense because there's not enough content in there. It would just look out of place, but eventually we'll have hit a critical mass of new content versus old, and we'll come back to this question then.
Okay.
What else do we have for today? We showed off these sweet swords, which I'm going to show off some more.
Show off some more. So those swords, actually, it was kind of funny. I was working with artist at Bioware, Sung Kim, who drew up the concepts for a bunch of them, and my art director, Mark Holmes. And occasionally they would draw one up, and I would be like, yeah, I'm going to make something totally different. And then I would make something totally different, and then and sometimes they would make something, and I would be like, wow, I don't think I can actually make that. And then they would say, what, you aren't very good? And I would feel sad, and then I would make it.
Weren't you the project director? Couldn't you have told them where to go and how to get there?
I was. On art, I deferred to Mark. He was the art director. He owned the art, and if he told me my art was bad, my art was bad.
Oh, fair enough. And
I was doing all sorts of old school cheat stuff, like taking polygons and putting them inside out to make arrow fins, because it would actually allow you to make a dual-sided poly with fewer verts. And that's all the clever stuff that really catches you when you try to actually put it through a shader now.
Well, and as well, like when Neverwinter was built, it was kind of the early days of 3D. No one really knew the right way of doing stuff.
62 polygon man, baby.
Unless, you worked at id because they had it figured out.
It was possible to build a humanoid character using 62 polygons if it was a hierarchical
possible mesh. Versus sound.
Yeah.
Two very different things.
It was basically a humanoid form made out of pyramids. Triangular pyramids.
I think we should give away a T-shirt.
I think we should. You know what we should? We should give a T-shirt away to somebody who understands time and the passage of time. We are going to give away a T-shirt to Delta Time.
Delta Time.
Delta_time.
Well, Delta Time, that's the time between two events.
It is.
So you'll receive your shirt between two events.
So this totally takes me in an unrelated story because that's what I'm all about. DeltaT, like the amount of time that passes between a frame and another frame. So when you're doing collision detection, I figured this out when I was building my own 3D graphics engine. I built a collision system and a physics simulator. And so you would basically say, okay, frame X, so I've rendered frame X, and now I'm going to render frame X plus 1. If 60% of the way between those two frames, I collide with a surface, I actually have to take that frame, subdivide it into that 0.6, simulate that, then I have to simulate that contact moment, and then I have to simulate the 0.4 fact. So what you would do is you would just wind up chopping up your DeltaT into 3 separate components, and if you had a secondary collision, you then had to continue doing that until you finally resolved all the collisions within that timestamp.
Sounds like a lot of work, which is why I don't do 3D game development.
It was actually really cool, and then I basically ran out of math. I built an Euler angle integrator, and the problem with an Euler angle integrator is when you pitch up 90 degrees, your reference points change. So your yaw actually becomes like a roll. So I had this problem where it would take this minute amount of energy that it had, and it would energy. And that ton of rotational energy would then, when it hit a surface, would convert into a translation. So you'd hit this thing, it would point up, it would start spinning, and it would like a top, it would hit the ground, and it would shoot off into nowhere land. At this point, when I created fudge factor 9, because I had 9 separate variables,
9 magic numbers.
9 magic numbers that were fudging things to try and make it work. And then I talked to some people in the know, and they're like, "Oh, dude, you have to make a quaternion integrator." And I'm like, "What the hell's a quaternion?" And if anyone ever asks you what a quaternion is, just walk away. Just nothing good comes after quaternions. Quaternions are where smart people live.
Essentially, once you find yourself adding a third dimension, stop and ask yourself why. Because computer screens, they're flat. You know you don't need 3D.
Here's a
comment from the Russian community. They're very happy with the work that we've done, and they're excited for new content for old campaigns like BG and Neverwinter Nights. Man, you know what my greatest wish of all would be? A universal,
why don't you just spoil everything, Phil?
A universal translator, so that localizing all of our content is fast and easy. Because like we speak English, we're English people here. It's hard for us to localize.
And we've got so many little colloquialisms and culturalisms that just don't translate.
And it drives me up the wall that so many of these great English RPGs are either they're playable in foreign languages, but it's not a great experience. And that's pretty much my wish. I want a universal translator. Somebody give me a universal translator.
A universal translator that gets context, subculture, and kind of cultural memes and is able to carry them over to new languages.
That'd be really,
well,
really
you're not asking much, are you?
No, I feel like, Elon Musk, help me out here, buddy.
Physical collector's edition when?
For which game? Neverwinter.
They want Neverwinter? They want a physical collector's edition of Neverwinter?
Probably next year.
You're such an ass. We have no plans at this point to do a physical collector's edition. Phil is a jackass.
Wait until we're done all of our new content plans, and then at that point it makes sense to start looking at how would we package this up and put it out in the most broad sense.
Well, I admire Atari's ability to take Neverwinter Nights and make a new box every time we sneezed into a Kleenex. I, at the same time, don't see a lot of great value generated there, so I would like to make a good, valuable package for our fans.
Today. We're punchy today. What's up? I mean, my excuse is I didn't have enough caffeine this morning.
Here's a question. Have you ever thought about making a whole new game in the Planescape universe? Yes, we have thought about that. Yeah. And we did work towards that concept. Yeah. There was a leak a while back about it, and it was like, we occasionally poke concepts. Yeah. We went pretty deep down that rabbit hole. We did a lot of work on it, and then sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Planescape's a hard sell.
It didn't happen.
It's a super cool setting, but it's also kind of a hard sell. For those of you who are curious, this was not Planescape Torment 2. So game set in the Planescape universe, which is a pretty dope universe because you can go anywhere and do anything. And it's really cool.
I'm going to go into the plains and do the plane thing. I'm going to go hang me some Modrons.
The one feature that I really wanted, and I think it actually ended up shipping 2 features. One of them did ship in Tyranny, Team Attacks. I thought that was a really, really cool feature that they added in Tyranny, and I wanted to do something like that. And the Tyranny shipped, and I was like,
Yeah, those bastards stole my feature that I was dreaming about.
And then
how dare they dream of the same feature?
Same function, well, not same functionality, but similar code path would be enemies being able to interact with party members. So like the giant kin. And I wanted to add cool stuff like that. More environmental interactions, more character interactions with one another.
Do you know how many D&D adventures would end so quickly? It's like, and it grabs you and chews on you until you are dead.
Well, that's why you have party members.
Save us, Bibble! Save us!
Yeah.
Will you add a portrait icon for the aid spell to the BG series?
Sure.
I didn't know that was a problem.
The old tradition. The status effect is missing the icon.
Oh, okay. Here's a tradition. Every stream we get asked about, what about Arcanum? Can you do Arcanum Enhanced Edition?
You know what? We did it. We finished it, and we were like, you know what? This sucks, and we deleted all the code.
And we burned it, and we sat around, and we had this cathartic moment.
Yep.
And then we ate peyote. And we were like, I love you,
Fridays at Beamdog.
Yeah. Here's a question: do you grind your own coffee beans?
What is that coffee maker that we have?
It
looks expensive.
We have a Jura XJ9, I believe it is.
That sounds like something you lose a knuckle in.
No, it was actually. So I had a bunch of friends at the IT department over at Bioware, and they had literally like an entire shelf full of dead coffee machines. And I was like, having destroyed every coffee machine known to man, which ones don't die quickly? And they're like, oh, this one, dude. This brand, Jura, they last long. They're good. So I went out and I found this kind of prosumer, not quite consumer level, but not stay-at-home version. And we got it, and it cost a lot of money. And we have literally put a couple 100,000 cups of coffee through this thing, and it is in the slow death right now. It occasionally let unhappy things happen. So far, it's been to the repairman twice, but I fear she has not many days left in her.
The fallback option, of course, is to just crush the beans in your hand and then pour boiling water
into your hand,
through your fingers, and just let it dribble out into the cup. That's the manly way of making coffee.
No, that is the...
Or you crush it in your mouth and then the boiling water, and then you snort sugar and cream.
Here's a question. Would a brightness slider be available in the game menu?
Yeah,
Changing shaders in Notepad is a bit outdated.
Yeah, Trent.
Yeah.
Add a slider.
Brightness is one of those things that it's a little more challenging to do now, but because of the shader pipeline, but at the same time, it's something we should be doing, so it's something we can definitely talk about.
Put it on the list.
Here's a question about alpha support for heads, parts like cloaks, wings, or tails. The texture format and the material format opens a lot of things up. I'm not totally sure on how it's going to interact with various shaders.
They should have transparency on those because they're not treated differently from other parts.
We're basically treating them as a 32-bit TGA.
Yeah, so you
should
got
have ARGB,
now.
so you should be good.
Are you PR? What that means?
Are you going to support the efforts to get the PRC compatible with the Enhanced Edition? Also, please unhard code, spellbooks, etc. already for real PRCEE. So the PRC added a bunch of classes, added a bunch of...
Oh, that, okay.
Yeah. I forget what it stands for, but it basically mods Neverwinter pretty heavily. Now, ultimately, my goal is to be able to go in and take everything that the PRC had to mod and to just open that up and make it a lot more accessible. And at the same time, allow for formats that support that context of a rules modification versus, like, when we imagined hack packs, we imagined them as art content packs. It's like, oh, you're going to make your adventure, you throw some custom art in, like a loading screen or some extra stuff, and that's how it goes. We didn't imagine that hacks would take the form of changing rules systems. So there's kind of an order of operations problem there, where if you connect to the module, it doesn't really have time to mod the character generation before you do the character generation. So the PRC kind of has to be done before, and then you've got to put everything in, and it gets complicated. I want to uncomplicate that.
Well, it's not unlike what we did with NWN. We took a bunch of the features that they had added to the game and just built them into Neverwinter directly.
And by we mean actually letting the NWN people work directly with the code. And
they did it, not us.
Yeah, so the goal is to open up modding and to open up the class modifications that PRC allows with less hoop jumping. Yeah. That is our goal.
So on that front, we're going to be looking at some tickets that we could triage and put into some sprints to support that vision, but this is a very, very long-term thing. It's up there. It's probably more work than, say, the 64-bit conversion or whatever else we're doing. This is probably the biggest thing because so much of the rules of Neverwinter are hard-coded into the game itself.
But Neverwinter's this weird beast, man. It's like this combination of a lot of the stuff is done in scripts, but there's some hardcore D&D stuff that is hard-coded in there, and then there's also some rules-based assumptions that are dictated by the data structure of the 2DA. So in order to make it work properly, we've got to kind of decouple some of those linkages and at the same time try to move more stuff over to the modability side. But there's usually a reason why we moved it away from modability, which is typically performance. Because anything in scripting, when you do it in native code, it's going to be 10 to 100x faster.
Well, the 2DAs are doing like tons of string compares, aren't they?
2DAs are sadness. They allowed us a lot of flexibility at Bioware to do things, but at the same time, they just added a ton of overhead to everything.
Yeah. So this particular feature of unhard-coding rules, making the rules more modular, this is a feature that's going to take a long time and would live in the development branch for a very long time because it has
and I don't think
potential to break
it's
things.
this megalithic feature. I think it's got these little pieces that we can do. It's like, okay, we unhard-coded that. Okay, we unhard-coded that. Into the build, and then eventually one point we'll just have it done.
There won't be a day where one day it could only do third edition, and the next day, hey, you can do 5th edition now. So it'll be a gradual process.
Here's a question. Can you upgrade BG2 Saravox Sword like in the Ascension mod?
Man, if you're looking for ways to cheese out your character, there's no end to ways in which...
Why not just grab the Ascension mod?
Well, you could do that, but I feel like BG2 does not suffer from a lack of powerful items, so I don't think we're going to make that change officially.
So here's a question. Icewind Dale 2 spells for the classes in Neverwinter Nights as a tribute for the Fallen Project. Yay or nay? Nay. Sorry, dude.
Though what I am interested in doing...
We have not given up in the search for the Icewind Dale 2 code.
Yeah.
It lives somewhere. Somewhere there is a person who has stuff on a hard drive. The question is just how to allow us access to that hard drive. How to find it and how to motivate the person who may have it to do what we want, which is to give it to us.
So somewhere there's a data gremlin sitting on a pile of hard drives.
And what we need to do is we need to bribe said data gremlin to get that. That's my theory.
Find him under a bridge.
Yep.
Do you have any plans to remaster any of the Summoner games so we can cast Magic Missile at the Darkness? I never played any of the Summoner games.
You never played Summoner?
I thought they were on console.
I'm trying to
I gotta look this up now.
I think I played Summoner on the PC.
I gotta look this up now.
I remember playing Summoner for a bit.
Summoner on Steam. It's already on Steam, guys. Okay. Yeah, I never played this one, but I had seen it. Summoner. Yeah, we're not going to remaster this one.
This was by this
is by THQ Nordic.
No, but the developer was Volition. Yeah.
Were they? Oh, they were the developer. That's right. Yeah, I remember because we went down to Volition that time. I was supposed
to with Volition at one point. Online, but we were drinking beers and saying things. And
I'm going to get yelled at after this.
You're totally going to get yelled at. Actually, I might just hit you with a bar of steel because I have one handy.
Anyways, yeah, we were looking at their old games, and I saw Summoner. That's where I saw it, but I've never actually played it.
No, I played it. I don't think I made it very far. I think I remember being pulled away by the development of another game.
It was very interesting because it was like an action but also party-based RPG. I saw some YouTube videos of it. It was really, really neat.
Here's a question. So are you guys going to try to do EE of the other Black Isle Studio games like Dark Alliance? Dark Alliance is one of those, it's like legal hell, man.
We're interested. We're very interested.
Yeah, so
we're trying.
Dark Alliance has Interplay still involved. And yeah, that's always fun.
If we can do it, we would like to, because Dark Alliance is also one of our favorites. It's kind of like Diablo on console before Diablo came to console.
Yeah,
that level of quality.
It was pretty cool. Here's a question: what's the hardest thing you are working on right now? Getting the right people on the bus so that we can do amazing things. The hardest thing on my frontier right now is actually mostly on the legal side, trying to come up with language that's A, readable by normal humans, and B, also captures what we're trying to do going forward on some deals. So I just have this really hard time. I like to think in plain, simple, straightforward language. and sometimes there's just a little too much ambiguity there, so I find a lot of time I'm spending trying to reconceptualize things.
Can I talk about my Neverwinter project?
No.
Okay, then I won't tell about the difficulties I'm having there.
No, you cannot.
Are there any updates to Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition that you're particularly proud of, Trent? Ambient occlusion? Holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, that adds a nice element to it. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Jeez.
The character stuff's pointing the right direction. I mean, when we have a unified lighting model that works with new content, then I'll be proud of it.
No one is harsher on their own children than their parents.
Yeah, until then I am not proud. I am dissatisfied.
I'm
dissatisfied.
Yeah.
Is that all you can do, you pitiful thing?
Shall we give away one final T-shirt before we end the stream today?
One shirt.
One shirt.
One more shirt.
One more shirt. All right. The winner of the final Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition T-shirt, which we can't see, is literally the only way to get a Neverwinter Nights T-shirt.
So picture us taking money and turning it into T-shirts and then giving that away. We should just skip the whole T-shirt thing.
Now, the thing that you need to be aware of is that we wear all of the shirts for at least 5 minutes before they go out the door. So that, you know, quality assurance, you have to make sure these shirts are good.
Yeah, and we have a certain stench ratio we have to hit.
My goal in life is to get as much musk of mine over the border as I can.
Phil Musk.
So
that's dark, dude.
If you get a shirt from me, enjoy.
Philly's kidding. We take new shirts out of the box and send those out. If somebody wears a shirt, they own it. So last shirt of the day, we're going to give back to 5x9.
5x9 in the pipe, 5x9.
5x5.
Whatever it says.
Wait, 5x9?
5x5 was already taken. Give them a break.
Doesn't make sense to me.
All right, pal, you want a T-shirt. So tune in next Friday. We're going to be chatting once again about Neverwinter Nights, Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition. We're going to be giving away shirts constantly because that's what we do here. This is
we are hiring. If you know people who are C++ programmers and who we're looking for a technical artist, and we're also looking for production people.
Yep.
And
the one tricky bit though is that it's got to be local. I need local people who are willing to live in Edmonton. So you out there, Neverwinter scripter who lives in Edmonton, come talk to me. I got some work for you.
If you live in Canada. Something we definitely...
If you're in Halifax right now and you're like, what are you giving me that acrylic for by? Then you should come to Edmonton. I'm sorry, that was a really bad Newfie impression.
I don't know what language you just spoke there, but it sounded...
I'm going to get nasty letters from people from Newfoundland. I apologize, but it's okay because we're all Canadian.
We're able to mock each other?
We can take a joke. I've heard a lot of jokes about people from BC, so I'm just dishing it out and taking it. All right, folks, we'll see you next week. Stay tuned and enjoy the development branch of Neverwinter Nights on Steam and Beamdog.
Patow.